What's up, guys? Hope everyone is having a fantastic day today. So it is currently January 25th, 2017, and you're probably already thinking, why am I already doing this tutorial when I said I was going to do it 2 weeks ago? Yes, 2 weeks ago I uploaded my Star Wars video, and I will say this, I am actually very upset that this tutorial did not come out sooner. I actually have a finished tutorial already that I could be uploading right now, but it's like divided into 4 parts because my After Effects kept crashing, and so it was like, okay, I'll rear it back, fix my computer and stuff like that. Then I'm back, part 2, part 3, part 4. So I decided to redo the whole entire tutorial today and upload it. Now I will be doing this, and it sounds crazy, but it is the only way I can start being more active on my channel. I'm going to start uploading every single day, so that means it could be a video, a tutorial, or just a tutorial in general. So each day will be a different day, and we're going to see how this plays through. I'm going to do it from January, till the end of January, till like the end of February. I'll be uploading Monday through Friday. So I will have like 2 days off to make a bigger video. So basically Monday will be a big video, the tutorial. So the weekend I'll make a big video. Okay, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the tutorial. First of all, you're gonna need to hear a few things. The first thing is this could be a 30 or more minute tutorial because there's a lot of things I need to explain to you guys in order for everything to turn out perfect. Second thing, make sure as much applications are closed for me, I'm using QuickTime Record, but make sure these are all closed and stuff like that because you do not want to have all these applications open while using the plugin we'll be using, because it's just going to go really slow. Second thing, you're going to need Element 3D in order to do this tutorial, and of course you're going to need After Effects. So basically, before we get started, I'm going to click on this PNG file. This is a background plate for the BB8 reflection. So for example, not for example, but when we like halfway through this tutorial, when we create BB8, we're going to want to make him reflect and kind of basically make him look like he's actually in the scene. Because we don't have a real life BB8, we have to create a digital reflection on him so that he's part of the scene. So in order to do this, we just need to make a screenshot. So for this tutorial, my person's in the scene the whole time, so I would suggest that we create a reflection map using the person. So what we're going to do is click full, so the full resolution's on. We're only going to do this temporarily. So what we're going to do is, if you're on a Mac, Command-Shift-4. Now Command-Shift-4 will open this thing up, and you can take a screenshot automatically like this of your reflection. It doesn't need to be too big or anything. That works. Then we're going to get out of that and turn this back on. Make sure I have nothing in here. Okay, anyways, then we're going to make sure it is over here. We're going to title this tutorial reflection, tutorial BB8 reflection. Yes, perfect. And then we're going to press Command I. This will import our area. Then we're going to import this reflection. We're going to put this under there and look at the PNG file. And it looks like this. We need to scale it up. First, we need to make sure it's on the proper settings. Anyways, scale this up about 220, I believe. That's too big. 210, 200, 185. We just need to kind of match it to the scene exactly. That's 185 works perfectly. There's a little black there, so we'll do 190. We're just gonna bump it up to 200 to not have a random scale. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get started. Now I have it on quarter because doing screen recording and stuff like that is just gonna make this tutorial go very slow. Just mind me, this is my very first Element 3D tutorial, so If I say something wrong, then it's probably because I don't know what I'm doing, but I decided to give you guys this tutorial. Anyways, enough talking. So what you're going to do in order to open up your Element 3D is you're going to create a new solid by going to Layer, New Solid, or by using the shortcut Command Y. And in this, we're just going to title this E3D, which is short for Element 3D. Now, the solid color can be anything you want. It really doesn't matter. It is just a reference. So we're going to do that and make sure it matches your comp size. Let's uninstall these. And then you're going to go into your effects and presets, or go into effect down here, Video Copilot, Element. This will bring up Element 3D. Now, of course, in order to get BB8, you're going to need to check the very top link below, which will bring you to a link on Video Copilot's website, which is a star pack, and this was released like a year ago when Star Wars Episode 7 came out, and Andrew Kramer released this Star Wars pack, and includes a rigged BB8 and a non-rigged BB8, so it's really cool, and again, you need it in order to continue with this tutorial. And luckily, he gave it to us for free, so that's really cool. So I already opened up Element 3D, and to get our scene set up, we're going to go down to Star Pack, and we're going to go and click on BB8 unit. Now, this is the rigged one, this is no rig, and of course we want the rigged one, so we're just going to click on that. Wait for him to load up, make sure he looks like this, and he looks fine. Now, we're going to come back in here only once more to change the reflection, but for now we're just going to hit OK. What we're going to be doing is positioning him and going to be explaining how to make realistic movement and stuff like that. So, but he does not appear anywhere, and that is fine. What we're going to need to do is, oh, I guess he appeared right there. Actually, anyways, what we're going to need to do is position him on the ground. Now, in my first video, my first test run, if I would say, my BB8 was floating, and my friend told me I need to position him down more because he needs to be on the ground, of course. So, in order to do that, we are going to go into Group 1. We're going to go into Particle Replicator, and we're going to position him down here. Now, I'm just going to grab this tool for now, just to position him in the destination I want him to. Now, when we create a shadow, it's going to look like he's floating even more. So what I'm going to do is just position him a little bit more down, so he's like this, and yeah. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and keyframe position X, Y, and Z, hit U on our keyboard so the keyframe should like this, and we're going to drag these keyframes to about, let's say, around 3 seconds, so we want the scene to just follow up. We don't want him to move very quickly. So that is perfect, and what we're going to do is go down to AUX channels. Now the AUX channels controls the head and the body, rotation and position, but we're only going to be focusing on the rotation, so we're going to click on channel 1 for the rotation, and I believe the rotation we'll be using is this one. Or it's the first one. Okay, it's the first one. So we're just going to keyframe. Let's do these two keyframes. Hit U, U again, so W, and that should bring up all your keyframes. Perfect. And so we want it to be like this. So we're going to drag them into the same destination. We'll have to match these accordingly later, and then go down to the channel 2, which will be for the head, rotation here, and keyframe these two. Actually, let's keyframe all of these, and then hit U, U again, and that should bring up our last keyframes. Perfect. So we're just going to go over here, then we're going to go over to where we originally put these keyframes and just match these all up with each other. Okay. So the reason why we did this is because this is how we want him to look. We want him to be about this position. But we also want the head to be facing towards the person. We don't want it facing the audience. So we'll change that. We actually have one last keyframe, and that is this rotation. This is to rotate him this way. Now we don't have to keyframe it, but we kind of need to make him look You can tell that the video is going this way, so it's going on a slant like that, and so we need to kind of match his rotation according to the scene, because you can see my person slanting a little bit. So for the Y rotation, I'm going to hit 10, and you'll see a little bit difference. And you can see that that is moving him towards the left. But for the X rotation, we're going to see if that moves him up or down. So that moves him down, which is perfect, but we need a slight turn. So I think that's on the Z. Let me just see. Let's do a crazy number real quick. Okay, now that works, but we need like maybe 3 or 5. Yeah, let's keep it 0 and let's do 10 for the Y rotation. So this is the whole thing, and then of course we'll rotate this later. So we can keyframe those, hit UU again, so that all the keyframes show up. And before we go ahead and go any further, I'm just going to say that the only time I'll say I'll be right back is if my program is definitely running slow and I need to fix it. Hopefully none of this occurs and we can get through the whole tutorial in one shot. But if not, then that will happen. So yeah, anyways, so that doesn't happen, let's go ahead and move on. So go down to AUX channels and go to the head. So this would be in, let's just close this real quick, channel 2. For the rotation, let's see if the first one rotates the head on the y-axis, I believe. Nope. Okay, I guess when you go down here it shows rotation X and Y. We want Y. So we're going to go ahead and go to like 50 degrees and see if it goes that way. It does. So then we're going to go to 240, and the reason why I go to 240 is because that's the degrees, I mean the rotation I used for some of it. That is too much, so we'll go back down 40 degrees by typing 200. We want literally him looking at him like this. So we will do about 180. Let's see if this works. Still too much. 120. Okay, perfect. And then we want to position the head a little bit back by doing -50. That's too much. What I always like to do is go a little too much, so then I can go back a little bit, just to make sure what I need, like how much I need to go back and to fix it. Because if you go little by little, then you're going to be like, oh, but if you go too much on purpose, then you can easily fix it, you know, by going back positive or going more negative, stuff like that. Anyways, so that's still a little too much, so we'll do -10, so just a slight touch. Perfect. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we are going to go about 2 seconds, and we're going to have him rotate his head in this way. This is so that when he turns around, that he'll be looking this way at us. We want the head to kind of turn faster and the body turn faster before, like while it's moving. So we're going to do about -20. And it's still a little too much, so we'll just dial it down to -10. Or dial it up, I guess, in negatives you dial it up. So that's fine, and then what we want to do is then rotate the body at just a little bit. So we'll go to channel 1, and to rotate the body this way, we'd use X, which is right here. So we'll rotate it this way. Or I guess it's Y. Yeah, it's Y. So we're just going to keyframe it at like 10. But now we are at 9 degrees, so we just want to rotate that much so you can see a difference when you go back here. Okay, so that's perfect. And then what we want to do is rotate the body going this way. So we want the body to, I forgot that we're going, so okay, I completely just messed up. This is for when we make him leave the scene. So this is gonna sound confusing, but let's just go ahead and do that, and then we'll take these keyframes and put them on the opposite. Okay. So these keyframes are the rotation, and we're gonna put them on about this many seconds, and we're going to click on these keyframes and hit edit, copy, and then we're going to go about this much and hit edit, paste, so that there's about 2 seconds of staying in. And then we're going to move these a little bit more here, and we're going to move these here. Okay, so let's delete this keyframe. Okay, so now we have that squared away. We'll finish that later. Okay, so that was really confusing, but that's fine. We can go ahead and now work on this part. So we want his head to stay the same and stuff like that, but the rotation of the body, of course, is the main thing. So the only rotation you want to be using right now is for the body movement. So that would be in channel 1, and that is on the X. So let's see what it looks like. So we want it to be moving this way, so it's rolling forward. So we want it to be a little fast, but not too fast. So I would suggest using about 200 to 300 degrees. So let's just go up to like 260, and you can start to see that it goes like this. So that is good so far, but we're going to hit 1x. So this means it'll go around 360 degrees. Like, it'll go around once and then 260 degrees, basically. Let's see if it is negative 260. Yes, negative 260, okay? Okay, perfect. So, we have the Z in position keyframed over here. So what we're going to do is go to that position, the Z1, and we're going to move it back towards our area. So we're going to move it like so, and we just want him to move out of frame. Now, of course, he looks completely ridiculous moving like this, but you can start to see that he is moving, he's kind of floating. But when we create that shadow, it will look more realistic. So you can see that he's still floating. So to fix that, all we have to do is go on here where he stops, and we just have to fix the position. So I'm going to use like a little bit more down, so like 940. And that should do the trick. Then we're gonna have to go back over here and change this one, add a keyframe to this, and change and add a keyframe to this. Okay, so it looks like that and is perfect. So we're going to start creating the shadow. Actually, before we do that, let's just make BB8 leave the scene, and then we'll create the shadow. And the shadow should be the last thing for this tutorial and stuff. Oh, wait, for reflection, yeah. But now we have his head turned around, so what we're going to do is copy the 0 position by pressing Command C on your keyboard, or Control C, and then pressing Control Command V, and this will bring him out. And we want him to start moving like at this point. So a few seconds should work. So we want him to fully rotate his head before him moving out, just so it looks like, you know, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go now. So we're going to go ahead and keyframe the at spot and then hit the 0. So he's back and then he moves. And then I guess we can add motion blur to make it look like that. So we have this whole thing set up. I'd play it to see what we've done, but of course I can't do that because it's still a computer. But this is perfect so far, and what we've done is like the biggest part of this tutorial. So it is really good right now. Now, if you want to do extra, and this is something I'm not going to do because I'm not going to make the tutorial go longer, but if you want to do something extra to make BB8 more alive, in this section where I'm highlighting, this section is where it's highlighted right from point A to point B. You can mess with the head rotation by rotating the head and making him look around the basketball court to make him just, you know, looking at what's going on, stuff, looking at the human and stuff. So you can mess with the rotation from point A to point B, like I said previously, and then you can stop him from rotating like that at the end of point B, so that, you know, he can go back to wherever he came from. So anyways, like the third time, to just be more explaining, point A from point B, you can make him more alive and stuff like that. So we got part 1 of part 3 done. So part 2 is creating shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and save this project so nothing happens. Then what we're going to do is go into scene setup. And we're going to go into scene setup like once more after this. So what we're going to do is create a plane, and this will act as our shadow. Now we want to drag this out and put it in group 2. Okay, so what we want to do is resize this. So we're going to resize this very big. I want to make it very big. I'm just going to zoom out here, resize it like so. So it's just a big plane, and we have the shadow and stuff. So if we turn this off, hopefully BB8 turns on. But anyways, what we're going to do to make this, we need to make this invisible for it to be a shadow. We're going to go down into material, go all the way down, and we're going to hit matte shadow. This will make it invisible, and all we have to do is hit OK. And then what you want to do is go down to render settings, go into shadows. I'm just going to press Command Save again. Something very important, always save it, especially when working in this, and enable shadow mapping. This may do the trick. Like I said, this is at the point when this is my first Element 3 tutorial, so I may not know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and change this back to group 1 and place it back into everything. Place it back into the group 1 folder. Let's see if this does the trick. Let's go back down to shadows. Okay, nothing is appearing right now, so let's go ahead and, okay, actually I remember what we need to do, so go back into scene setup, make this group 2. Once it, and well, I figured out, it took me forever to figure this out, but in order to make it a new group, you need to, if it's placed in group 1 folder, you need to drag it out until it shows red. So it's group 2. What we need to do is position it according to this. So go into, let's get out of group 1, group 2, particle look, particle replicator, position in Z space, and let's zoom out just a little bit. Let's position it right here. Ray traced. This is only for if your computer is fast. My computer is fast in a way when I'm not recording. So actually I'm going to change it to shadow mapping just for the sake of the tutorial. But I would suggest using ray traced. It just changes the effect a lot more. So matte shadow is enabled, so it should be popping up. Map size, we can change it to like 4096. So it looks like this, and I believe that you would go into new, light, and create a new spotlight. Everything is fine like this, and make sure cast shadows is on, and then move it out using the Z position. Just position it like so. Let's see how this is working. Makes a little depth. Turn it off for now. You can tell how much difference it makes it. Usually what I do is I would create a solid and stuff, but you'd have to position all of that. The shadow should be working. Let's go back into scene setup. I do apologize, guys, if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing. It's just this is my first tutorial. So I'm in Element 3D, so I am doing my best to try and recreate it and stuff like that. I'm just trying to figure out how the plane model should be showing up in the BB8. Because the plane model should be within here because you're supposed to drag it in and stuff. Let's go back into scene setup and turn matte shadow off so that we can see the solid, and then we'll come back in here and turn it back on. Okay, that's why. Okay, so we need to reposition it. Go into group 2 and position it down. We need to position it in the Z space, negative Z space. Let's go into scene setup and scale this up more. because making it huge doesn't really matter because we don't have any other objects that's creating a shadow on, so it is fine, and we can also fix the shadow later. I'm just creating this. Let's copy this to that. 28.90. He's only going to be in that general area the whole time. For rotation, we want to copy our group 1 rotation. So it 10 degrees for X and Y. So it would be 10 degrees and 10 degrees for X and Y on group 2. Yeah, and this is when it start freezing. We're so close. We're so close to the end of this tutorial. I don't want it to mess up. X rotation, turn it off on that. This is fine. And for the position, let's try and see what this works. For group 1, position was 690, 940. Okay. 940. 690. Was that right? 690, 940. Yeah. Okay. So this should work, and let's go back into scene setup and turn that shadow back on. And let's change basic settings up a little bit more. Hit OK. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm probably wasted like 20 minutes of trying to figure out this shadow. Wait, I found. Okay, man alive. I almost. Okay, you need to make sure ambient occlusion is checked, okay? And then the intensity, I believe, you want to bring up. Yes, okay. I can't believe I've been messing with this the whole time. You want them to bring the intensity up this much, and then for the tint color, you want to match it to this bluish color. It's like a bluish greenish, so you kind of want to match it to him. It's kind of dark like this. Kind of want to match to the color. Intensity should be up more. And then we need to move the position down just a little bit because it's starting to get on BB8. So move it down. Or actually, never mind, keep it up at 960. Man alive, I know I keep apologizing so much in this video, guys, but I am so sorry that I just realized it's what you need to click to make the shadow appear. Anyways, you want to use ray trace if you can, because that will help. And this is all fine for now. Contrast, let's mess with that just a little bit. Let's turn that light back on. And effect lighting, let's tune this up just a little bit. Let's actually just delete that light. We don't need it. And that's just an extra thing that I don't need to do for this tutorial. Let's go into ambient occlusion. I believe it is this full render preview. That's what the draft mode looks like. Full render. There's something that what I learned we need to do in order to fix this, because the shadows are a little messed up. Oh, okay, go into output and click on ambient inclusion. So you can see that the shadow is it's not good, basically, so we kind of need to fix that. And we need to go up to shadow samples and tune that up a little bit more. Let's change it to ray traced and see the difference. Just for an example, turn it back to shadow mapping. Again, make sure it's on ray trace. It's just the tutorial. I'm not going to do that. Okay, yeah, this looks fine. So let's go ahead and go back into composite. Okay, so we got our shadow, and so it's kind of good. If we unclick it, it looks good. And it's not exactly what I did, but it's fine. We need to blur it just a little bit because a shadow is generally blurred. So the blur radius, let's go ahead and bump that up. And anything in blur, probably is not a good thing I did, but anything in blur I kind of blurred it out that involved shadows and stuff. Just because I decided to do that. This is fine. It looks fine. So now what we have to do is part 3, which is the reflection, and that is going to be it. So this is probably like the easiest part. We're going to go into custom layers, custom texture maps, and we're going to click on layer 1 and tutorial BB8 reflection. That's it. I'm just kidding. That is the way to set it up, but we go into scene setup. And this is the cool part when we actually get to mess with the texture of map and reflect BB8 on it. And this is also the point where I'm going to skip the part of the tutorial because After Effects decides to be super slow. So yeah, we will get right back. Okay guys, that was surprisingly fast. I just quit my program and reopened it. So we are inside the scene setup now, and again, this is the final part. So what we need to do in order to do this reflection, first of all, I'm going to zoom up just a little bit up on BB8. Come on, don't mess with me now. Okay, I'm just not going to mess with it. We're already at the 40-minute mark. So what we're going to do is go group folder, go into BB8, go into body, BB8 copy, body on this one. But first we're going to go into the environment and change the environment from this to our custom layer, like so. Now let's go ahead and edit the environment and stuff. Let's make it a little bit nicer and cleaner. Let's up that gamma a bit, contrast let's up just a tiny bit. Brightness we can bring it tone down because the color correction we're going to use is going to be darker. Saturation we want to be good, and it's okay, so we can hit OK and hit environment like this, and it's going to show the environment. Oh, so cool. But BB8 is still not being reflected. Now if I could zoom up, it'd be so much better to show you guys. Anyways, so go into the glossiness, and what we're going to do is kind of mess with the brightness and stuff like that on here, and you will see a little bit of a difference on BB8. But what we're going to do is keep it like that, and we're going to kind of bring it a little bit brighter. and then we're going to up the gamma just a bit, okay? And then for the glossiness, we're going to tune it down just a tiny bit. Let's keep that 80. Reflectivity, 80. And so now you can see that there's a change. So when we move it around, he reflects according to the environment. So that is pretty cool. But now we can see more of his metal body, so that is not good. So we're going to hit 90. And okay, that works. He reflects and stuff like that. We're not done. So make sure it's on head as well. So what did we do here? 80, 90, small camera. This doesn't really matter. But just in case you're using the camera, his small little lens camera up close, hold down Shift, I believe, and bring it to reflectivity or Command. Oh wait, no. Use Alt or Option, and this will copy one. So bring it into both of these. So 80, 90. Perfect. Then get out of the body, go into the head. Make sure all this is on. Okay, so 80, 90. Make sure the head is like so. Okay, perfect. So we got our reflection. Let's move around just to see. And so as you move it around, you can see he's reflecting head. Okay, this works so much better. And you're going to see a huge change here. So he's reflecting. Let's move him a little closer to the camera by going back just to see what he really looks like up close. And voila, he reflects. Okay, now that we have our shadow, you really can see if he's actually floating or not. So, he is floating, and this is not good. So what we're going to do is go into group 1, the position. We're going to go up just a little bit more. This will move him down just a tiny bit. He needs to be on the ground. Like so, okay? He's on the ground right there. So 961, we're going to go over here and copy that, 961. So now when we go back over here, he moves back. He is on the ground, which works out so good. Yes, this is perfect. That's what we wanted. Okay, for the final touches, you're going to go layer, new adjustment layer, and you're going to add the day for night option, which is what I believe I used. And then you're going to add a new adjustment layer, and we're going to add a color correction called brightness and contrast. Up it by 40, actually up it by 100. Nope, actually tune it down to about 60, contrast to about 30. Press Command Save, so our project save, and this is the difference. Boom, boom. Now this is good, and of course you don't have to use this color correction, or just made up thing that I just did. Of course, using Film Riot's day for night thing. This is not perfect for the color correction, but that's not the purpose. So this is what we have created, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay, so you probably already know what I'm going to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give the video a thumbs up and comment below if you enjoyed it. Remember to hit subscribe to my channel and help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers. And again, I'll be uploading more tutorials daily. So, yeah. And see you guys. Bye.